got it from my stream tech. Okay, so hi, I am Tuaolo. This is Guardian Legend. We have a lot of time to talk during this run, so I'm gonna go ahead and get us started, and then yeah, we'll just get going. So timer is gonna be when I hit new game here. We'll get going in 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, good luck. So the first thing that you're going to notice here is we're doing a shmup. So this is actually a pretty unique game for the time frame that it was released in. This game was released in 1988. It is a hybrid game. This is a shmup, this kind of like bottom to top spaceship combat scrolling system. And then, as you'll see in a few minutes, there's also going to be some Zelda-like dungeon crawling and exploration as well. This is a pretty cool game. There's going to be a lot of different stuff that you're going to see today. We're going to be doing the 100% category. I'm not going to take any credit. Tuaolo is going to be doing the 100% category.
It's a group effort. There is a we here.
But the 100% category, as I understand it, is all upgrades and collectibles, all weapons and sub-weapons, and we're going to be completing all 20 corridors, which corridors are basically like this thing that we're in right now, except this is kind of like an intro, right, Tuaolo? This isn't one of the actual corridors.
Yeah, I just kind of refer to this as the approach. So the story of this game is you play as the Guardian. And this planet Naju was sent hurtling towards Earth by some alien civilization, and we have to go destroy it before that happens, by finding the fifth element and destroying it with the power of light. No. Yeah, so this is the first boss here. This is the defense system. This is keeping us from actually getting into the planet.
Just imagine Star Wars, and this thing's the Death Star. If the Death Star shows up at your home planet, you're going to have a bad time.
Nice and easy.
Alright, so this is going to get us into the first dungeon crawling area, and so this is going to be kind of like a new view here. And yeah, now we got this action, and Tuaolo, do you want to kind of talk through a little bit about what these sections are like?
Yeah, so this is the labyrinth, basically referred to as how we get around the planet. At the start of the game, there's only a small section of it open to us, and as we go through, we're going to unlock more of it. So we're on our way to the first corridor, Corridor 1. We've already picked up our auto shot, so I don't have to mash buttons anymore. Our first sub-weapon, which is the saber, and I just got a red lander, which increases my chip count.
Yeah, and chips is going to be something that you'll be seeing on the screen for pretty much the entire run, and chips do a couple different things. Chips are your sub-weapon points. They are also the game's currency, so it's kind of like a shared system, and this game does have a shopping system as well. When Tuaolo is fighting normally, he's got kind of like a typical pew-pew-pew laser gun. By the way, chat, pew-pew-pews are encouraged in the chat, so if you feel so inclined, because it's a pretty dominant sound effect in this game, feel free to just go pew-pew-pew at any time. Nobody will judge you. We understand. So that main weapon, that is his main weapon, and then there's going to be sub-weapons as well, and we've already got one of them. That is the saber, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
But you're not really using it right now because you kind of don't need it. But there's going to be a lot of bosses as the run goes along, and even maybe just certain sections of these they're called corridors, where you do need to use those sub-weapons quite a bit. I don't remember how many you said are in the game total, but I know you're only going to use 3 of them.
Yeah, I honestly don't know how many in the game total either. I think it's like 12-ish. I'll show them at some point. And you'll see them while I'm menuing and stuff. So this first corridor is kind of long. It's pretty slow. It's sort of your introduction. This is actually the longest, slowest one in the game.
Yeah, but things to look out for in this game. First of all, the music is really, really good for an NES game. I have to say, like, there's some pretty good jams in here for the old school system, and even some kind of interesting technical stuff that I know Tuaolo was pointing out to me during the practice run that we did together, where the tones that they make and some of the little things like that are actually pretty well orchestrated for the technology that they had at the time. Also, the boss fights are really, really cool. You're gonna see them. You're gonna see a lot of the same character models, but they're gonna increase in difficulty for the most part. And I know you said there was a color system, so if you get a chance, maybe just mention that for people so they know what colors are like the weaker versions and then the stronger versions.
So by and large, the way it works is the warmer the color, the tougher the enemy. So red enemies are the hardest, and then orange ones are a little easier, and on down, and then blue and green are the easiest. I think there's one or two places where it might deviate from that a little bit, but by and large, that's how it goes.
There's also a drop system that you're gonna see while Tuaolo is going through these corridors. They come in a rotation, and is it every 8 or 10 enemies that you kill that you get a drop?
So it's not specific enemies. Different enemies have like a hidden drop point value. So some enemies are worth 1, some are worth 5, 10, kind of stuff like that.
Okay.
And then when you hit certain points, a drop will drop.
And one of the interesting things for Tuaolo as a speedrunner of this game, I'm gonna talk so he can focus on the boss, is those drops follow a set pattern. So knowing where you're at in the pattern, knowing where you're at in the cycle, is a pretty important skill for running this game.
Yeah, like most NES games, random isn't truly random once you understand what's going on. So in this game, drops come in an 8-drop rotation. So the first 7 drops are always heart, red chip, blue chip, heart, red chip, and then there's an 8th drop. Early in the game, where we are right now, the 8th drop is always an energy tank, which completely refills your health. Later in the game, we pick up a weapon called the enemy eraser. And after we do that, the 8th drop starts rotating. And so it's on a 4-drop rotation, and it goes enemy eraser ammo, energy tank, red chip.
It's a lot to keep track of, basically.
Yeah.
A couple of people in chat talking about using a turbo controller. I believe you did already mention, Tuaolo, that you already got the upgrade, thankfully, that allows you to just hold the button down.
Yeah, there are auto shot upgrades in this game. I got the first one. And I'll be getting more as the run goes.
And the interesting thing about the labyrinth, so Tuaolo is not going to go in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 order. We did Corridor 1, and now we're over here doing Corridor 11. This is because the game uses a keycard system, and certain keycards come from certain corridors. And it's also a little bit of an open world game, just in the sense that the labyrinth has different parts that you can explore at certain points. The corridor numbers are also a little bit interesting because in any percent, you only have to do corridors 1 through 10, but then there's also corridors 11 through 20 that are required for the category that Tuaolo is doing, the 100%. And this is the sea biome. There's 5 different palettes, if you will, themes for these corridors. And they actually are parts in the labyrinth too. So there's water, forest, crystal, bio, which is like being inside somebody. It's kind of gross. You'll know it when you see it. And then desert.
Yeah, so a lot of this game, like there's 20 corridors, technically like 21. And they're all very, there's a speed, there's a certain pattern the enemies come, like nothing really changes. So speedrunning this game comes down to knowing how to kill bosses quickly, running the labyrinth effectively, and not dying. Because the way this game works, especially in the corridors, is there's no life system. If you die, you die. And you go back to the last checkpoint, and all the checkpoints are in the labyrinth. Focus here on this guy real quick, sorry.
Yep. Work on that boss, and this is probably a good time. Sparks, do we have any donations?
We do indeed. Thank you to Sibaran for a $15 donation. No comment. And also, we've had several subs in the meantime, and again, thank you very much for those subs. All revenue from subs and bits will be going towards Trans Lifeline as well, so thank you for your kind donations.
Very nice. That's some good victory music right there. So,
but yeah, like I was saying, so if you die, you go back to the checkpoint, and if you die like on the boss at the end of a corridor, then you have to run all the way back to the corridor, fly through the whole thing again, and try the boss again. So boss deaths in this game are extremely time-costing. I'm doing very poorly here. Oh my god. There we go.
the nice thing is you got all your health back there, and that was so it had that kind of face on it. That's what's called a lander. Tuaolo mentioned that before. That was an intentional death, by the way. Don't worry.
Yep. So we got warped back. We were done on that section of the maze, so we warped back to our last checkpoint, and we continue from elsewhere.
Just Zelda things.
Just Zelda things.
Although you get a nice reset way to do it in that, but yeah. But yeah, so the game uses a keycard system. You're going to be picking up certain things to make certain corridors easier, like that red lander that Tuaolo got increased his chip count by 50. And again, chips are used not only to power your sub-weapons, which are like your stronger weapons, but also as currency. And Tuaolo is going to need to buy certain things along the way here too. Also interesting, and we're not going to call every single one of these out. I'm sure Tuaolo is going to call out some of the cool ones, or like the more elaborate ones. Those corridor doors don't just open up for you when you go into that room. You actually have to solve a little bit of a mini puzzle in order to get the door to open. So
yeah, it's only on corridors 1 through 10. So this was 12. This one does just open for us. But like in corridor 1, I had to shoot the door to get the door to open.
I mean, that's not really a puzzle, let's just be honest, but
yeah. But if you don't know that you need to do that, then you're going to be sitting there for a while.
I mean, if I had a door that was closed and I had a laser gun, the first thing I would do would be to shoot the door.
Shoot it? Yeah, right.
But it doesn't work on all of them. Yeah, some of them are actually fairly elaborate, and the game gives you what I can best describe as a hint system for how to open the doors, but we're not going to see any of the hints because they're static. None of the puzzles change, so Tuaolo knows how to open all the doors, and will do so accordingly.
Yeah, we haven't actually. Corridor 2 is coming up. It's funny. I didn't really notice it until we did our practice run and you brought it up. But you pretty much do corridors 1 through 10 in order and 11 through 20 in order. But then they're kind of interspersed among each other. And I never realized that until you mentioned it. So we got the red Fleepa here. The last one we used our saber and we kind of bounced up and down with him. This one we're using our fireball and we're just having him run into us like that. Pretty simple.
Sparks, I hope you're not getting too hungry from all the fish.
I mean, it's a struggle. You see fish and you want fish. That's just how it works when you're an otter.
Yeah, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to hop in, because this is one of those games that probably I would say a hidden gem, because it did kind of come out late in the NES's life cycle.
It seems very ahead of its time. I'll say that much.
It had a lot of good ideas for when it came out, and especially considering a lot of the limitations of the NES system, in a variety of ways. It's
so.
actually pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's got, it's got mechanics that I wouldn't expect for an NES game at all. It's got like an RPG sort of feel to it, despite its its genre.
So we just hit our first shop. You can see I spent all the chips I had to buy that weapon upgrade. So now I go into this one with 0. This is corridor 2. The trick to opening this one is touching the 4 corners there and they explode. And then the door opens. So now I need to get a chip upgrade to get my shot back up. There we go.
Chips are kind of like if you see the red circles on the ground, those are the chips.
Yeah.
But it's confusing it was confusing to me at first because the boxes are all red, and then you shoot them and there's something inside, which is also usually red, but not always.
Yeah, Blaze mentioned chips in this game. They power your sub-weapons, so you can see I have 150 chips, and next to my fireball there it says, shot 37. So if I fire one, now my shot's 36, and I have 146 chips. So firing each fireball right now at level 1 costs 4 chips to do, and it does the math for you, so you know how often you can shoot. The fireball is a projectile weapon, so one shot is one projectile. The beam weapons like the saber and the cutter that you'll see in a little bit, your shot is how much it costs for 1 second of shooting, basically. So every second you'll burn through, however many chips it costs.
I just have to say, I wish my speedruns did the math for me.
Wouldn't it be nice? And then, so chips power your sub-weapons, chips are your currency, and the other thing chips do is determine how fast your primary shot is. So right now I have 150 chips, that is my max. So you see when I shoot, it's sending out like this tight little bunch of 3 bullets. As I go on in the game and my max chip count gets higher, my blaster becomes more and more powerful. But if you expend chips, then your weapon, starts decreasing in power again. So your weapon power your max weapon power is based on your max chip count, but then as your chips go down, it decreases.
And this is the Crawdaddy.
Crawdaddy, he pinch.
In case you weren't hungry. Some of the bosses do not look appetizing. I will just say, you'll see as we go along.
That's just because you're not an otter.
I mean, if you want to eat some of these ones later on, Otter, I'm concerned, but
yeah, they're very tame right
salivating.
now. They get into full nest weirdness later.
Also, I see a comment in chat that the little dude looks like Carmen Sandiego. So, fun fact about this game: it was actually published in the U.S. by Broderbund, and I believe they also published the Carmen Sandiego games. And that
They
made me
did.
think of that.
Carmen Sandiego, Myst, Prince of Persia, and if you ever printed out Happy Birthday banners on your parents' dot matrix printer, that was Print Shop Pro, and that was also Broderbund.
Another intentional death here to get back to the hub.
So it was actually checkpoint rooms. So these pink rooms with the blue landers in the corner are the checkpoint rooms. So every time you pass into one of those, that's where you appear if you die.
Alright, so now we are in the jungle biome.
This is one of the areas in the game where I kind of do some optional routing based on my health, so I'm actually going to come up here and pick up this lander first if I want more than 6 health for that boss.
And your chip count is also up to 400 now.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, I'm gonna die! Yep.
Oof. Yeah, health goes down very quickly. So you have shield and then health. You're kind of explaining to me in a little bit more detail before the run. But the blue bar is shield, and then there's health under that. Is that right?
I mean, not really. So the Guardian is fragile. She can only take one hit and she dies. So your health in this game, that meter, is your shield. And when your shield drops to 0, like, no matter how much an enemy damage does, you'll always stop at 0 shield. And then your next hit will kill you. Let's see if
That
he's
makes
a little-
sense.
There we go.
So you got to get in and get out with some of those bosses, because like you'll outrace them damage wise, but if you get that hit, that's bad.
Yeah, he had his bounces on that first attempt were kind of weird.
You're using the sword, the lightsaber on the bosses, right?
On that one, yeah. There's a couple bosses. In the labyrinth, I almost always use the saber on bosses. There's one exception. Oh, there's a couple exceptions. I did do a couple fireballs. But here in the corridors, it changes up pretty frequently. So I'm really hoping for a health drop soon here, because yeah, now I'm in trouble again. So what I have going on right now is a 0 health hitbox. Because there we go. Because your health in this game is your shield, and you'll notice, like, when I take hits, there's a little bubble around me. Oh, thank God. Okay. When you go down to 0 health, it's your shield disappearing, and so your hitbox shrinks, which is great in that it makes enemies less likely to hit you. But your hitbox also determines when you run over pickups. And that can really mess up your run if you think you're about to fly right over something and then you go right past it.
That was pretty clutch, I have to say. You were down to no shield, and now you're back up to full health and full chip count. So
yeah, I
good
did
job.
get one of those energy tanks, so I'm sitting pretty right now.
Do we have any more donations or anything?
We do indeed. We have 2 anonymous donations, one for $50 saying make like better faster, and one for $5. Miss donating during Ori's Sonic run, kinda closet feathery, and don't publicize the fact. Have a pun though. It's a bad thing to have sick raptors. They're ill eagles.
We love our puns. Don't let anybody's groans while they're on the mic tell you otherwise. We love all your puns. Thank you, chat.
The best puns are the ones that cause you physical pain.
That's true. All right, so this is the Bombardier. This is a pretty easy boss. I don't think I've ever seen you have any difficulty with any of these 12. Please do not prove me wrong now that I said that.
I mean, I think I've died on every boss in this game once, but yeah, if you die on this guy, something went horribly wrong. Although it does kind of suck when they appear on the bottom of the screen like that. He's shooting missiles at me, I'm just destroying them before they ever appear on the screen. But when he's all the way at the bottom like that, then I can't get in position to actually kill them, and I take all those hits.
Makes sense. Nicely done. So that is 1 through 3 done for the completion of the game, at least. Oh, that was 13. My bad.
That was 13. So we're going to go to 3. 3 is the most annoying to open, especially as a speedrunner, or for speedrunners. I just have to sit here and wait for 20 seconds.
So what
that's
I'm
all
hearing
this
is it's a good time for an announcement of some sort.
Yes, please.
All right. Hey, Team Fastest Furs is a group of furry speedrunners dedicated to building a strong community that is welcoming and open to all. We're hosting 2 online charity speedrun marathons this year in the spring and fall. Oh, well, every year. And ongoing community events throughout the year. For more information, join us on our Discord by using the command !Discord. We'd love to have you.
Yeah, so you can see right there, there's a little animation transition between the corridors and the labyrinth. I've been skipping that. There's a trick in this game where if you hold the select button during that transition, it skips it. So a lot of times you see me pause the game for a half second before I drop in one of those. What I'm doing is hitting select, to go to kind of the weapon select menu. And then while I'm still holding select, immediately hitting pause to come back to the game, and then holding select through that transition. But my thumb slipped there. So you got to see a little bit of it start playing.
This is also the first time we're seeing the saber weapon, so that's the one that's
Or
it's
the
kind of coming
cutter.
out of the sides. Yeah,
This is the cutter, yeah.
your ship is T-posing.
So yeah, one thing, I don't know how well the music is coming through on stream right now, but this is one of the things I like to point out in this run. You can kind of hear those hi-hat taps in the music, that kind of like thing going on. But while enemies are destroying, like if my shots are actively hitting enemies and they're blowing up, that hi-hat tapping goes away. The NES only had so many sound channels to work with, and so the enemy destruction sound and those hi-hats are on the same sound channel, and the enemy destruction gets priority when that's happening. So, kind of one of those little tech things you pick up on. You're a super nerd.
Where? There's no nerd. There's no nerds in here. What are you talking about?
Alright, this
Never.
is probably the hardest technical boss in this run, so give me a second here to focus. Oh, God. Almost had him.
Good try.
Alright, so yeah, I positioned myself at a very specific point to start that fight. God, I thought I had him. And then if I get too far away from the boss during the side-to-side movement, so that I'm not hitting him enough, or my vertical position changes more than a few pixels, it's a 3.5 minute time cost. I really
That's
thought
okay.
had
I
it.
think we just need I think we need chat to chip in some more donations for Sparks to read while we're redoing this section.
Well, hey, if you miss any runs and you want to check them out, then you should go to our YouTube page. ! YouTube will bring up a link, and you can see all of the runs that have passed shortly after they've concluded. So check
What,
those out.
How are
See
we
what
doing
you-
on our
what you're missing.
How are we doing on our incentives in Bid Wars for later?
An excellent question. I'm glad you asked. Let's see. Currently, we have several upcoming. We have three. We have rolled out the character bid war. You can vote for which character you want to see. We have Morris the Rat in the lead with $60, and Chartreuse and the Giraffe and Snowcone the Chicken feeling neglected at $0 apiece.
Yeah, I just want to let me just get in here for a second. So last marathon we had rolled out, and everyone was like rat, and I get it. Like Morris the Rat's pretty cool. I would like to see one of the other two get their due today. I think we should make that happen.
Indeed. We also have Kirby, Nightmare, and Dreamland Any Percent, the boss endurance. That is currently sitting at $279 out of $750 for that incentive. And we have Metroid Prime Hunters All Items, the first hunt bonus run, sitting at 5 out of 500. But that one's a bit later. But definitely check out those rolled out incentives, and let's see if we can get somebody else in the spotlight this time around.
Awesome. Yeah, let's keep donating, everybody. Let's get that new marathon PB for the weekend.
Alright,
Heck yeah.
I am going to save seat here just in case this goes wrong again.
That's fair.
Man. This happened on
It's
my
a-
practice tune.
It's a really tough boss fight.
Yeah, see, I changed my vertical position now. Let's see if I can salvage this one with Fireball.
going to the backup strats.
There we go.
Hey, very nice.
Nice.
Good old fireball, nothing beats it.
Yeah, so Blue Optimum there is probably the first major run killer when you're trying to learn this run. He's one of the earliest, hardest bosses, and that strat with the cutter is a pretty technical one. I've actually gotten pretty good at it, but I don't know, I just didn't have it today. Now we're going to take another intentional death.
And you're walking through some of these mini bosses, but you'll come back and fight them at a more optimal time. Is that right?
Yeah. So that one we just passed, we never actually fight. But like coming up in a little bit here, I'm gonna skip one and then come back and do them later. If you hear that siren music, you know the room starts closing off. But if you get out of the room before it does, then you're fine. You don't have to fight that boss.
There's an awful lot of ground to cover in this game, too. I know chat can kind of get a sense for that when you're on the pause screen, because there's that mini-map, but do you know offhand, like, just roughly how many rooms are in this labyrinth?
Oh god, no. I've never counted. And the, you know, when I was learning the route, I had a map made up by one of the runners. I can't remember if it was Schmitty or Baxford who made the map. But it was extremely helpful, and then I actually cut it up into little pieces that I could just, you know, keep open and scroll through as I ran it. That showed me the path I needed to take in each section. And it was the last thing I memorized on the way through.
We actually have a question from chat relating to the labyrinth. Awu Squad says, "I noticed the little blocks sometimes form letters. Is there anything to that?"
Yeah, so that's in the kind of in the initial section of the game, just to help you not get as lost in the very start. There's a north, south, east, and west, and they're basically, you know, to that direction of the starting room, so you know where you are.
Awu, I asked the exact same thing during the practice run that we did together. And they're very helpful genocidal aliens, it turns out.
Listen, they just want to kill you. They don't want you to be lost while they're doing it. That's just mean.
I mean, if you can't find your way around, how are you going to run into them?
Yeah, exactly. You need to be able to find them in order for them to kill you.
Getting some good Nightmare Fuel NES sprites in this stage.
Yeah, these things are very Contra inspired, I'm sure. Alright, so this is going to be Clawbot. This is the first time we see this boss. Pretty basic. We're just going to sit here and wail away on him until the front half of the ship falls off. And then we come up here and kill the back half.
Those ones have seemed pretty easy.
Yeah, they're not too bad. That one's actually probably the most dangerous of them, just because you're not as powerful yet. So we're going to pick up a blue lander. That increases our max health.
Getting all the upgrades here.
Okay. That was almost bad. I forgot I didn't want to use my sub-weapon because I have a shop here. So here we're going to use a little shop glitch. You see I have 400 chips. I should only be able to buy one thing, but we can buy two. So some of these shops, if you hold the start button, after you buy one item, the rest don't disappear. Oh, sorry. This is how we unlock Corridor 4. We go in and out of this shop a couple times, and then this little lander guy's like, oh, you're trying so hard, I feel bad for you, I'll open it.
We thought you were confused, so thank you for saying something.
Yeah. But when you buy an item in a shop, normally the rest of the items disappear. But in some of the shops in the game, if you hold start while you're shopping, not only do the items not disappear, but you can buy things even if you don't technically have the chips to do it.
It's like a BOGO.
Yeah. We're not sure if it's a legitimate bug or it's kind of one of those developer shortcuts that just was not coded out of the game later, but hey, we'll use it.
This one seems to be a little bit faster than some of the levels you've been in, the corridors you've been in so far.
Yeah. A lot of these corridors move at different speeds, and really the only thing that affects is you see like when an item drops, it kind of floats near the top of the screen and then actually sticks to the ground. So if the level's scrolling really fast, it's easy to miss them. Also on certain levels, it's like if you're not watching, this game runs at a pretty steady 60 FPS, which is impressive for a NES game. And on some of the faster levels, if you're not watching it at 60, it looks terrible.
There's also not a lot of lag, which is pretty amazing considering, again, the NES and like the amount of graphics that are on the screen at certain times.
Yeah. So this is Terramute. This is the only time we see this boss.
Aw, it's cute.
Terramute, more like Terracute.
Usually try and 3-cycle this guy, but I guess we'll go for 4. And I would have loved a little more health on the way out, because that's going to make this next boss a little tougher. I may try and show you kind of one of the little glitchy tricks in this game. Since I've already died, I know I'm not on pace to do anything special. So we're going to come up here, we're going to shoot this block out, get rid of these things, shoot that, and there we go.
Oh. The perfect pixel.
Right? And he's still going to be a pain in the butt. Really? Oh my god.
Ooh.
And I went the wrong way. So yeah,
Angry Eldritch Horror.
So this is what this run can do to you sometimes. It's fine, but yeah. And as you can see, like I said, dying in this game is your major time cost. So you can see, like, every time I die, just how much time I'm losing running all the way back to where I was.
We do have a couple more donations.
Go for it.
Bursic Badger donates $5, saying, seeing the Guardian legend after so many years is giving me plenty of flashbacks, but my reaction to the tentacle eye boss is visceral, in all caps. We also have an anonymous $70 donation, saying, I have only just discovered Fastest Furs, pretty cool group and cause, good luck on the runs of all the remaining runners, let's see if we can get Chartreuse in the spotlight. They did indeed donate the $70 towards Chartreuse for Rolldown.
Chartreuse hype.
Yep, Chartreuse is now in the lead.
Also, thank you. I know a lot of folks come from other speedrunning communities to check us out. We take the speedrunning aspect of this very seriously, even though we are a furry speedrunning community, so we want our events to be as good as possible and show off the best runs that we can, so definitely give us a follow and come back for our other events, and we would love to have you as well if you're a speedrunner, whether you're a furry or not. So. Oh my gosh, Woo Squad in the chat just said that the fuzzy eyeball things remind him of koosh balls, and it totally does. Also, hey Commander, how's it going? Thank you for the raid. Alright, so this is the crystal biome, so this is kind of like the third area now.
Yeah, so we temporarily skipped this corridor to go get that lander. Now we're gonna run back in.
Now it looks very crystally. Actually, we need a pencil eraser from Earthbound. Does anybody know where we could get Apple Kid's phone number? Not too much to say during this part. Sparks, I don't know if you have any more donations or announcements to read.
No more donations at the moment, but hey, if you want to keep up with the Fastest Furs community and you like what we're doing here, then please consider following us on Twitter. !Twitter will bring up a link to our Twitter page. Definitely consider giving that a follow if you want to know what's coming up. And actually, speaking of things that are coming up, if you type !guide, that'll also bring up a link to the viewer's guide for this event, and you can see what all's on the deck.
Yep, we still got about another 10 hours to go, and there's tons of good runs left today. So, actually, after this is the music performance. I'm really gonna be geeking out about that.
Yeah, I'm
that is
looking
gonna be
forward to that.
so fun.
I have seen the set list, and I can confirm that it will be a good time.
Oh, you've seen the set list? Oh, I'm so jealous. Don't
I
spoil.
have.
Don't spoil.
I'm not saying
but I'm
anything.
Very
I'm not
jealous
saying
of you.
anything.
Sparks.
It's good. It's all I'm gonna say is that it looks good. I think we're in for a treat.
Scarab did an amazing job last time he did this, so I can't wait. And I'm also secretly wondering if there's going to be a cute fursuiter hanging out with him. But we'll see. It shall all be revealed. We got a run to finish here. Tuaolo, we got to focus.
Yeah. So Green Clawbot, this is the easiest of them. Not a problem at all.
Yeah, you made that look really easy.
So next up we have possibly my least favorite mini-boss in the run. If RNG is kind to us, it's very easy. If not, I mean, it's still not too hard, but...
Let's get some Bless RNG, or probably not Bless RNG, but let's get some good luck for Tuaolo here, everybody.
Alright. So we're really hoping he spawns as close to the top of the screen as possible, because what we're going to try and do is trap him in those blocks up there. This is pretty good. Yep. And now he just moves really slowly. That was almost as good as it gets.
Nice. I imagine if you don't get him stuck, he just starts flying around the main part of the boss arena, making life miserable.
Yeah, he kind of moves in an alternating vertical-horizontal pattern where he always chases you. So yeah, as you can, this is Corridor 5, so to open Corridor 5 we had to shoot the little title at the top of the room. The sign that helpfully tells us where we are.
It also has this weird sub-message, please don't shoot me, wink.
Yeah, right. So yeah, I guess while I'm coming through here, just one of my fun stories about this game, and like, you know, a couple people have mentioned that they know it, but I must have, like, I had to have rented this when I was a kid from our local Blockbuster competitor. I don't remember what he's called anymore. And I didn't get very far. It was a really hard game, but it always kind of stuck in my mind. And then years later, I was like, oh, what was that game I played? And I would describe it to people like, you know, sometimes you're this chick, you know, running around in this maze thing, and then you go in these doors and you turn into a spaceship and you fly around shooting things, and people are like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I've never heard of this.
I was one of these people.
Yeah, and after a while, like, nobody knew what it was. I started to think maybe this was a fever dream, like I just made it up or something. And so I wrote a letter to Nintendo Power, and I was like, what is this game? And they're like, oh, it's Guardian Legend. Thank you, God. So
they had to go into the archives.
Seriously.
Like I swear we made this game at some point. No, but people definitely remember it. Like you said, there's people in chat that seem genuinely just like, oh, this game, that's really cool. And
yeah.
Yeah, that's a really fun story. I can also confirm there's plenty of copies on eBay, it looks like, too, which I was kind of just looking into a little bit because I was curious.
Yep, I got my own right here.
Oh, nice! Oh, is that in the window there?
Yeah, that's this game.
All right. Nintendo... Was it on the cover, Firebird? Was it on the cover of Nintendo Power?
I mean, if it wasn't, it should have been. That's all I'm gonna say. This game was way ahead of its time.
Alright, so this is Corridor 6. To open Corridor 6, you have to fire your sub-weapon long enough to decrease your chip count. And then this level, Vaxford, who's, I think he's currently 3rd place in times in this category, although he held the record for a while, has a really helpful any percent guide out there. It's like a 4-hour YouTube video that really helped me learn a lot of the stuff I needed to know for even this 100% run. And one of the things he says about this level is basically everything in this level is designed to keep you away from the top of the screen, which is pretty much where you want to spend the entire time. If these volcanoes start spewing too many rocks, you take a lot of damage, it lags the game, slows things down, it's kind of a pain in the butt. So everything about this level is just killing them as fast as you possibly can.
You're doing a good job.
I love how absurdly fast the pew pew noise is at this point.
It's just all W's. It's just pew.
Yeah.
Are we on the moon? Maybe. We might be on the moon.
So yeah, basing other thing about the speed of your pews. That sounded bad. Anyway,
perfect.
So another one of those little NES programming trivia facts. Your weapons in this game, you can have 4 shots on the screen at a time. So you have 4 slots in memory for your weapons. If you don't have any sub-weapons selected, then all 4 memory slots go to your primary weapon and you shoot it really, really fast. Most of your sub-weapons take up 1 slot in memory, but your cutter, because it has 2 blades on it, takes up 2. So when you have your cutter equipped, you only have 2 memory slots open to your primary weapon, and you actually shoot it pretty slow.
I guess that's also a good incentive to be up towards the top of the screen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm letting my cutter do most of the work in that stage anyway, but...
We do have a $10 donation if we've got the
Yeah, go
time
for
for it. We have a $10 donation from Anonymous that says Moo with alternating upper and lower case, and afterwards says, "You'll never guess." I am going to guess. I'm going to guess that this was a donation by Moo, alternating upper and lower case. Or by someone pretending to be Moo, alternating upper and lower case, of course.
Thank you, Ralph.
You have to count the O's.
That'll take a hot minute. There are a lot of them.
Thanks, Ruffy.
It's especially fun when you're trying to add them to friends lists.
Oh, yeah,
I think that's actually how that joke started. It was my name, but it was like in a preview window or something, and it was just MOO, and then they just ran with it.
So now we're in the biome. And these little unique enemies here right at the beginning, these little squids, they absorb all weapons fire. So you just have to fly up to them and boop them to kill them, and they do no damage to you. In this level, they're not too bad, but in a couple levels here, there's a ton of enemies flying around the screen, and you're trying to kill them, and meanwhile you have those guys blocking all your shots, and it's super hectic and not fun.
So
But right
suddenly
now,
this
just-
turned into a fantastic voyage.
Yeah.
It's the Magic School Bus episode where we went inside the body.
But now we can just boot them. I always think of Oasis when I'm doing these.
Aw. Poop.
Boop.
Our resident booper Oasis. This reminds me of the NES game Life Force. I played the crap out of that game, and that's the first game I ever used the Konami code for. So it definitely sticks in my memory.
Man, I forgot about that game until you just said it. So now we have the eyeball growth. Whoa! And that's not supposed to happen. That happened on my practice run too. But usually, man, like usually you just sit in the middle of him and it's no big deal. Oh my god!
It wouldn't be a,
that
it wouldn't be a
hitbox
marathon
changed on you.
Yeah.
if weird things didn't happen. Wouldn't be a marathon.
It's all right.
Like,
These things
yeah.
happen.
I mean, that happened in my practice run with Blaze a couple of days ago too, and I was like, this never happens. And then here we are live, and again.
Well, you can't say it's never happened before.
That's true. I can't say that.
I'm revoking your "that's never happened before" card.
To be fair, there's a lot of deaths in this game that I cannot say that about. Wow, I am doing things this run. Okay.
We have another $20 donation from Anonymous that is, again, Moo, alternating upper and lower case, and says, if you can't count the O's, you'll never knows.
Oh my god.
Alright, I'm counting the O's.
Okay. At this point, I'm just hoping I don't go over my estimate, which is usually very safe.
You got this, Tuaolo.
There are 15 O's this time, for the record. Last time there were a lot more, so...
Okay. We got this.
Any more donations, Otter?
They're not at this time.
All right. Just let us know. You can interrupt at any time, and you got this, Tuaolo. You definitely use life as a resource a lot in this game, and it seems like it would get pretty anxiety-inducing in the times when it's maybe not going at the pace you're used to.
Yeah.
Your shields do seem to go down remarkably quickly in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is probably the first corridor in the game where when I die, I'm kind of like, it's less like, oh, like, how did that happen? And it's like, okay, well, you know, this is where I feel like the game really starts getting dangerous. This is what it's supposed to look like.
This definitely looks like a speedrun strat.
Oh my god.
So do we have an explanation for why there are a bunch of eyeballs in this esophagus? I feel like that's not where eyeballs are supposed to go.
Yeah, the boss is officially called Eyeball Growth. I have another word for it, but I don't like to say it publicly because it's a sensitive one sometimes.
As we're going through, because there's a boss rush and there's a lot of other bosses coming up, if anybody in chat has appropriate alternate names for any of the bosses, feel free to share.
Oh, incidentally,
go ahead.
Incidentally, one of those $10 donations actually went to Morris the Rat, which means Morris is actually now in the lead once more. Morris is at $80 and Chartreuse is at $70.
All right, Chartreuse. I can't even say that word. Wow, Chartreuse world. Let's bring it down home for Chartreuse. Come on now.
So if you've been paying close attention, you may notice that I'm suddenly walking a lot faster. After you pick up your 4th defensive upgrade, you get a huge speed boost. So now I zip around the map. And this is Corridor 7, it's kind of like 4. We just have to run in and out of this room 4 times through the same door. If you go out a different door, it resets your count. And, oops, this is not the weapon I want right now. Alright, so this is the enemy eraser. You can see why it's called that pretty aptly. It just erases most of the enemies on the screen.
This looks kind of cheesy so far.
Yeah, the lasers these ships fire are one of the most health draining things in the game. And as you can see in this area, there's a lot of them. So we just kind of chill in the corner there and destroy them when we think we might get hit.
Bursic in chat saying, in true speedrun fashion, every boss strat seems to be stick your nose in the boss instead of hanging back and trying to dodge stuff.
I mean, it's not entirely inaccurate.
If you just stick your nose in the right part of the boss, you take minimal damage.
Oh, that's not where I wanted to go. Getting a little ahead of myself. Now that we've died, we want to go up. So we skipped Corridor 16 earlier, because we have to run right back past it anyway, and we're more powerful now. So we're going to go back and do the one crystal stage we left behind.
All right. Might be a good time for some more donations if we have anything.
We do indeed. We have a $5 donation from Anonymous, no comment. And we have a $25 donation from Sev Yodi, who says, "What sound do giraffes make? Probably yip yap, right?" Question mark. I don't know. I would imagine that the giraffe noise would be more of like a bleat, but like giant.
Fun fact: nobody's ever gotten close enough to a giraffe's mouth to hear what they sound like.
It's actually
They're too
out of
high
giraffe,
up.
isn't it?
They're too high up there. You can't hear it.
Wait, are giraffes a Pokemon? Are we sure they don't just say giraffe?
I mean, they might. We wouldn't know. Like you said, they're too high up there. You can't hear them.
The fun thing about that incentive too is so it's rolled out, which is basically Super Monkey Ball for those who don't know. So we're going to be putting whatever animal wins that bid war into a monkey ball. Don't you want to put a giraffe into a monkey ball? That seems way more interesting than putting a rat into a monkey ball. I'm just
basically
saying.
like Tetris, but with an animal.
I mean, it's Samus, right? It's basically a Samus imitation.
Yeah. Actually, I saw a thing the other day which was about Samus's ball and how, at least in the old games, the ball was actually exactly half her height, which actually made the ball make sense because, you know, she crouches down and she's in a ball, but in the newer games they made it like a third of her height, so now it seems like she's getting squished.
Don't squish Samus, she doesn't like it. Alright, that
As you
fight
can
went a lot better than the green one.
Yeah, we're a lot. He's a red one, so he's the most powerful, but we're pretty ridiculous now, so. So now we come up to the section of 1,000 warps. And you'll see why I call it that very quickly here. We're gonna go down here. This is a checkpoint room. So, get a checkpoint. We come up, we're gonna go to the mall, and do some shopping, because everybody loves shopping. Hit this store. Hit this store. Hit this store.
You're going on a shopping spree.
I know. And we're done.
Nice. Yeah, Firebird in the chat. Also, if nobody has said yet, this music bops. Yeah, this game, we were talking about that a little bit earlier, probably kind of at the beginning of the run, just how good this is a soundtrack is for the NES.
Yeah, I love this. So Corridor 8 here, you have to hit your sub-weapon button with no sub-weapon equipped. And this is easily my least favorite corridor in the game, so I'm going to try and focus through this one. You guys can talk, but I will not participate.
Can definitely do an announcement or something.
Alright. Well, if you are just joining us, we are raising money for Trans Lifeline. We are proud to do this once again. It is a peer support service run by trans people for trans and questioning callers. Their operators are located all over the United States and Canada and are all trans identified. If you are in crisis or need someone to talk to, you can visit translifeline.org/hotline and learn how you can connect. Also, exclamation point charity will bring up more information about Trans Lifeline.
Just to give everybody an example too, just a quick Trans Lifeline plug, because it's not all in the blurbs this time, but one of their micro grant programs. Oh, by the way, this is a Grim Grin, and I don't think you should eat him, Sparks.
Yeah, no, this one does not look anywhere near as flavorful as the earlier bosses.
It's all eyes and teeth. It's too much cartilage.
Oh, it gets even
Yeah.
better, just wait.
Seems like could be past the expiration date a little bit as well. Oh god, what the heck? You poked out the eyeballs. This got dark.
I can't see!
Just wait. Here it is.
Oh no. Oh no.
He's just a bag of eyeballs, and they were trying to get out.
I have so many concerns.
Wow, just the concentration that you have to do all that movement during that fight is really impressive, Tuaolo.
I got into that fight with a little less chip count than I liked, but... Ooh.
Just to finish my thought while you're going to the next thing, unless you have anything important you need to say, Tuaolo.
Nope, go for it.
So I was just going to shout out one of the specific microgrant programs that Trans Lifeline does. And when I talked to the representatives there, you know, they let us know that this is one of the things that our donations go towards, and that is for ID markers. So if you are a trans individual and you are trying to get your gender updated on your like your driver's license or your passport, for example, a lot of people don't know this, but that's actually a legal process. You have to go to court and you have to file paperwork, including like a actual application that you have to file for processing that has a pretty substantial payment involved. And it's truly like a barrier for a lot of people. Like, people don't necessarily have several $100s laying around so they can get their driver's license updated. And the microgrant program, that is one of the things that goes towards, is giving very small grants to people who want to get the very important paperwork updated to accurately display their gender identity. And I just think that's incredibly cool.
And very, very important. I have several trans friends that mentioned how obnoxious that process is.
Yeah, and we're just like talking about the money part. Like, it's really, really difficult in other ways too, like you were kind of alluding to. So just the fact that Trans Lifeline can help take care of the financial part of it that's probably just such a huge burden in a process that's already, in a lot of cases, very deliberately onerous and unfair to people. So anyway, give money to Trans Lifeline. They kick butt.
Indeed.
All right, so I was just going to point out quickly before we got there that if you remember the last boss, that was Grimgrin. This boss is... Oh, no, this is not the other
No, this
one.
is also Grimgrin, yes.
Oh, okay, so there's another one. So if you haven't... if you were just able to flush the mental image of Grimgrin out of your short-term memory, guess what? It's going to be back very soon.
Fortunately, this is Blue Grimgrin, so he's easier, and we're more powerful. So this one is not nearly as difficult. Although, to be fair, I have also gotten careless and died on him plenty of times. Red Grimgrin, that last boss, is another one of the major checkpoints in learning this run. I feel he was, you know, kind of one of my, oh my god, I have to fight this guy 20 times to beat him kind of things while I was learning this game.
It's just such a long fight, and you really have to kind of keep your positioning tight the whole time. I can see how that would be really difficult to learn.
Yeah, and the corridor leading up to him is so hard and technical. That if you don't get to him with enough health or enough chips, you know, your chips will run out, and then your shot's super weak, so you can't do any damage, and you just end up dying. So it's just a brutal boss. It's a brutal corridor all around.
I can only imagine doing one of those bosses actually casually. I mean, it would be on screen for next to forever.
Yeah, and I mean, like we talked about, if you die at the boss,
all right, and then you just have to do the whole thing all over again.
Yep.
Yeah, this definitely seems like a game that if you were playing it casually, you'd probably throw it down against the wall in frustration quite a bit.
Yeah.
This one's one of the controller breaker segments.
Save states were my friend. Save states were definitely my friend.
Zelda 2. We need somebody to make a mod of the Guardian Legend with a checkpoint system, the way the new mod of Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link got released recently, where if you die, you don't have to go all the way back to the beginning palace.
Or just like 3 lives. Just 3 lives. You know, you die, your ship appears back on screen, and you're still good to go. Yeah. So that's a fun little thing right there. The level 2 fireball moves at the same rate you do after you get your speed boost. So if you fire it and just keep up with it, it acts as like a little shield.
I have to say too, this game seems like it could, like, you could probably make a pretty interesting randomizer out of this game too, as a randomizer runner.
I think there is one actually.
Oh heck yeah!
There was a post in the Discord just a couple days ago that they had released a new version of it. I've never checked it out. This alone is enough for me, but
our chip count is getting quite high.
yes.
We are pewing so many pews right now.
You are pewing faster than the sound can keep up with, actually.
I think this is this the first desert one, or is this the second one? Did I miss
this is the
calling out
first one.
Okay, yeah, this is the desert biome, so this is the last of the biome kind of color palette templates, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too much left here. This is area 9 of 10, and then I think we still have to do 19 and 20, and then the escape also, right?
This is 19, and then we have 9, 20, and 10.
Okay, yeah, the game always throws me off, because it always says 9, even if it's 19, for example.
Because the different areas in the labyrinth have numbers. So we're in the 9th area of the labyrinth.
Oh, right, yeah. And yeah, for any percent, there was a question chat about 100%. So any percent, you only have to complete areas 1 through 10, and then there's these 10 additional corridors in 100% plus all the like collectibles and sub-weapon upgrades and things like that.
Yeah. Any percent is basically just beat the game. To beat the game, you have to do corridors 1 through 10. They're basically what unlock the final corridor. And then the final corridor is a boss rush, and then a final boss.
I imagine any percent is just incredibly difficult to finish because you don't have nearly the power that you do for this run later on.
Yeah, I've watched the any percent runs and they look pretty intense. This is definitely, it's the longer run, but it is by far the easier one.
It's the more approachable run if anybody's looking to get into running this game, you would say?
Absolutely. This is actually the first game I've ever speedrun. After the last Fastest Furs, I've helped out in the background for a couple of years, but I was like, I want to try and learn a game to see if I could actually do this. And I picked this one, and at first I was like, oh my god, of all the games I could have picked, why did I pick this one? It seemed really intimidating. But it's actually a pretty easy game to learn in the grand scheme of things. There's a lot of good resources out there that helped out. And yeah, it's basically, it's learning the boss strats and the route through the maze. If you're really good, you learn like what weapons you need to use in the different areas, but I keep that note on my tracker so I don't have to memorize it. But yeah, I actually found this one a pretty reasonable game to start speedrunning.
That's really cool that you kind of picked a older game that you had fond memories of and that you really liked.
Yeah, and you don't see a lot of people running this, right? Like, so
that's always a good thing to help you get. It can be a little bit of a double-edged sword, but if you don't have a community for it, if you don't have any resources for a new game, that can make it tough. But it sounds like with this one, you had some pretty good resources out there. You had some folks that you could reference if you needed, but yeah, not like 1,000 people on the leaderboard.
Right. Yeah, I've never. Hold Hold on, let me pay attention to drops through here because they actually matter. Red chip, energy tank, heart, red chip, blue chip, heart, red chip. Okay. So this boss is Igor, who I think Igor should have been what we called the last boss, but
Lots of eyes. Eye demon enemies is like a NES staple, so... what Tuaolo was doing there, by the way, I'm going to let him focus on this boss fight, but he was really paying attention to what items were dropping, so that you're trying to manipulate an energy tank, right, to a particular point.
Yeah, either an energy tank or at least like the 2 heart drops to get through that boss, because you do take a lot of damage. What was I gonna say before? We were talking about the community, we were talking about...
Oh, just like resources and not having a gigantic leaderboard, but also having some reference material and stuff.
So yeah, my current PB in this game is 1:19:50. I've never actually recorded and submitted an official run. And I also use RetroArch, which I guess disqualifies my runs. But if everything had been official, I would be at 6 plates on the leaderboard. So yeah. And then there's like a 45-second gap to 5th place, and then there's like a 2-minute gap to 4th place. And I'm going the wrong way. And then after 4th place, it gets really tight. The current world record, I think, is 1:16:37-ish. And that's by Vaxherd.
Okay.
No, Schmitty. Schmitty holds the record currently.
Angry bouncing Jolly Ranchers.
Never know when you're gonna get attacked by a sapient Jolly Rancher. It's a legitimate concern.
Much better than the Igor.
Alright. So we have 2 more bosses coming up. They're ones we've seen before. There's a Clawbot at the end of this level. And then there is another Igor at the end of the next one, although he is significantly easier.
Yeah, there was a question about the blue helpful looking friends. Those are called the Landers.
Yes.
They will give you power up or like stat ups and sell you things and all that stuff.
Give you tips, yeah. I don't know why they're here and why they're friendly.
They're the resistance.
I mean, there were messages left behind by another civilization before you got here that were trying to stop this from happening. So I suppose they're somehow involved with that. Who knows? So a lot of this part of the game is just understanding, like, what can I get hit by that's not going to hurt me so bad, and what do I really need to dodge? And in this level, you really want to dodge the skeletons, and you want to dodge the lasers that those things are shooting.
I feel like dodging lasers is generally a good idea.
It's always a good idea. So, yeah, I'm gonna do another Clawbot here. He's red, so he's the toughest of them. We don't really care at the moment. Because if you can see, when the timing lines up right, our fireballs actually destroy his laser before it hits us.
It actually just looked like it was malfunctioning. Like, I'm not convinced it was actually firing at you. I think it was just leaking out. Alright, so that was corridor 20, and then, yes, the long walk to corridor 10.
The long walk.
I see Demarine in the chat. I just have to say, when I first saw this game, Demi, I absolutely thought of you right away because these parts reminded me of Crystalis a lot, among other things. So,
I think Demarine's on the top 10 list for this, aren't you? I think I've seen your name on there.
would not surprise me. I haven't been on the leaderboard.
Oh my god. There we go. Okay.
Oh yeah, you just did a cool speedrunner thing.
Yeah, wall glitch. So if you hit vertical walls in this game just right, you can go one unit deep in them. And this is pretty much the only place in the game we take advantage of that, but we do it twice. Okay, on health, I don't need to get that. Yeah, we're going to try it again right here. There we go.
That was clean. That's actually fairly difficult to do. Crystalis being another hidden gem. That's a very apt name.
Yeah.
Was that? I think that was an unintentional pun, actually.
So this is the last of the 10 main corridors. To open this one, you have to fire your primary weapon for 10 seconds.
Because 10.
Because 10.
That's what I'm going to go with. And is this the one with the boss rush, or is this the last one before the boss rush?
This is the last one before the boss rush. So this one is another Igor. He's much easier than the last one. We don't have to worry about drop manipulations or anything like that. We just kind of go down there and blast him.
Everything you're telling me is telling me this is a great time for any final donations or announcements before the end of the run.
Absolutely.
Alas, there are no new donations at this time. However, if you are having a good time, please consider making a donation. ! Donate will bring up a donation link. And this event is in benefit of Trans Lifeline, who, in addition to Crisis Hotline and support services, they provide microgrants. We were talking about that earlier, offering grants for legal name changes, updated name and gender markers on IDs and passports, immigration documents, and more. To learn more about this program for yourself, including how to apply for such a microgrant, you can visit translifeline.org/microgrants.
Thank you so much, Sparks.
It's what I'm here for.
So that crazy fast part of the first half of the corridor, basically you just kind of watch for where your item drops are going to appear and try and stay right beneath them because everything's happening too fast to do much else.
Boss siren noises!
You know, I didn't realize that was supposed to be a siren until just now.
Danger's coming. Hey Tuaolo, since he's a giant head that you're fighting, are you basically face tanking right now?
So bad.
That sigh, though.
Got him.
See, but that's how you know it was good, though, because a good pun causes you physical pain.
Indeed.
All right, on to this way.
All right, we're coming to the end here, right?
Yep. I'm going to be about a minute over as long as nothing else goes wrong, so I guess not terrible, but definitely a rough run.
It's all good. That was the weirdness with the eyeball. That's all it was. The eye growth.
Yeah. So this is another place where I'm going to do some item manipulation, and basically I'm trying to kill as little as possible as I go through this area. So we're going to be seeing a lot of the bosses. Well, we're going to be seeing bosses we've already fought. So there's Fleepa. Then we have a Clawbot coming up. No, I think we have Zibzub before the Clawbot. Yep, Zibzub first. And Clawbot next.
They've just grown to love you over the course of this last hour. They don't want you to leave.
Switch to Cutter. We're gonna have Optimom and then a Grin. That part would have been nice, but oh my god, really?
Oh no!
That heart would have been really nice.
Yeah, I saw you fly over that, and it was just like, oh no!
All right.
It's all right. You got this.
Yep. I swear I rarely top a minute 23 anymore.
It's just marathon things.
Just marathon things. Just nerves.
This would be a great time if anyone in chat has some funny alternate names for some of these bosses that we're going to be fighting for the last time.
Indeed. We gotta give them a proper send-off by, you know, giving them the fun pet names.
I think that was Tony. I'm going to call that one.
Tony.
Okay, we'll
yeah.
go with it. Tony.
Optimus Prime.
Yeah, Mr. Jerky suggesting Optimus Prime for the Clawbot. I like it. Why not? But why not Cloptimus Prime?
Oh god.
I think we already determined this guy was Kooshball.
Yeah.
So yeah, just Tuaolo then started shooting those to get the health up.
Yeah. Coming up on Grin, I want a little bit to work with. Even if it is the easier of them.
God, I still can't believe they have all the eyeballs popping out as you're doing damage. What was the rating on this game?
You know, and I can't believe this one isn't named Igor because it's literal.
It's
Igor.
gore coming from the eyes.
But hey, I don't name these things. What do I know? Okay, last boss is going to be a Bombarder.
Polyphemus.
Touche, I like it.
That was nice. That power up.
Yeah, that was good timing. This is where I'm trying to pay attention to where I am. So that was a heart. Now we're going to have a red chip and a blue chip. And 2 hearts. One heart. 2 hearts. I think I'm okay on where I want to be. Because then our next drops are going to be red chip, energy tank, and that's going to be perfect for this boss. So we have blown up Naju, we have saved Earth, now we just need to go home.
Oh no, it's flying debris.
That seems to be flying in the opposite direction I'm going, but
You're going back
actually-
towards the explosion for some reason.
Look, the Earth was just trying to defend itself. Okay, they don't realize it's you.
and now this is the final boss, and the final boss of this game is just called It.
Very cool boss design, by the way.
Yeah. So there's his hands, which we shouldn't come in contact with at all, are mildly dangerous. These little ship things he's shooting out aren't too bad, but the little balls that he's spitting out are what really damage us, and that's what we're really trying to either destroy or dodge. And right now it's not too bad, but when we get him about, 2/3 of the way down, he's going to turn orange and start spewing them faster, and then he's going to turn red and start shooting them very fast. But we are in good shape right now. He's about to turn orange. Any moment now, you big idiot. There we go. At 17 health, we're in good shape. Two, one, there. And time is when I fly off the top of the screen. Time.
GG's.
GG.
So that is Guardian Legend. Shout out to Backsword Schmitty and the rest of the TGL community for all your guys' tips and guides that you have out there. And Zaki the Dragon, who was a world record holder in this game for like 3 years. One of your YouTube videos was also a huge help. And to Fastest Furs for putting on this event. You guys are great. Thanks for having me. And yeah, really hyped for this music showcase coming up.